AITA for getting remarried quickly after my husband cheated and left me. I, Hannah, 40F, met my husband, Ben, 38, in 2015 through mutual shared interests. We began dating, and at the end of 2016 Ben proposed to me, and I said yes. We had a wedding at the end of 2019 before COVID. I was the happiest I had ever been. I had married my best friend, and I believed that our marriage and relationship were perfect. We had our ups and downs, the same as any relationship, but never had any significant fight or issues that would have tainted the relationship. After the COVID lockdown ended and we were able to return to work as normal and be more social, I started noticing changes in Ben. He would set up his work schedule so that he was away from home more. He wouldn't accompany me to things like movies or family outings. He would get short and snappy with me. He just began to feel cold and distant. In my heart, I felt like he had already left me. In March of 2022, I had to travel out of state for a weekend. While I was gone, Ben would not answer my phone calls, texts, etc. He also disconnected and deactivated the security systems at our home. All red flags. After crying and battling myself internally over what I should do, I decided to return home from the trip a day early without telling Ben. I got home at 3 a.m. on Sunday. Ben wasn't expecting me home until Monday. When I came into the house, Ben was asleep alone, and his phone was beside of him. I picked it up and walked out of the house to go through the phone. The first time I had done this in our relationship. The things I found made me sick. He had been sending pictures through Snapchat to various women. He had been Googling addresses and directions to different women's houses. I checked the GPS in his car, and the addresses had been entered there. Ben suffered from ED, so he kept Viagra in the house. I knew he had just refilled the prescription before I went out of town. So I grabbed the bottle and found that several pills were missing since I left on Friday. His screen time showed hours and hours logged in the messenger and phone, but he had deleted all phone call records and text messages, so that I could not see who he had been communicating with. Then I found the Vault, an app where you can store photos and videos with password protection. I sent myself pictures of all of the various evidences I had found on his phone. I woke Ben up and told him that we needed to talk. When he saw that I was holding his phone, he became as white as a ghost and tried to attack me to retrieve it. I handed it to him and told him I had already seen all that I needed to see. I asked him what the password was to the Vault on his phone, as we had an open device password policy in our relationship. He absolutely refused to give it to me. He told me he would rather end the relationship than give me the password. That told me everything I needed to know. I took steps the following few days to initiate divorce proceedings. I was so devastated that my rock, my best friend, my partner in life had treated me like this and so easily tossed our 7-year relationship away. I went into a state of depression. I could not eat and lost close to 30 pounds, could not sleep, missed several days of work, had to go to counseling and take medications to try to feel normal. After about 2 months of this, my best friend, Mallory, 40F, begged me to get on a dating app to meet some people. I was hesitant because I had never been on a dating app, but thought what the hell. Maybe it will help me get over Ben. I joined Tinder and matched with Jake, 33 meters. Jake and I had a lot of fun chatting with one another and eventually decided to meet in person. I was open and honest about my situation with Jake and let him know about my divorce and ex-husband. Jake thought Ben was an idiot for ending our marriage and losing a woman like me. Jake and I increasingly began spending time together and were inseparable after a few weeks. A few months later, in the summer of 2022, Jake asked me if we could be exclusive. In December of 2022, Jake surprised me and asked me to marry him. I was a whirlwind of emotions, but I said yes. Of course, this news made it to social media, and that's when I began hearing from Ben again. Ben contacted me to let me know that it was embarrassing to him that I have moved on so quickly and that was publicly engaged. He was also upset in my choice of partner, as he made sure to let me know that he did not approve of Jake for me. I don't even know why he cared, because he cheated on me and ended our marriage. Jake and I got married in 2023 at a tropical destination wedding. It was beautiful and Jake went above and beyond to make it special for me. Ben reached out to me again to let me know that I looked like the cheater in our relationship because I moved on so quickly and got remarried. So, AITA for moving on and remarrying quickly after my ex-husband cheated on me and divorced me. Am I wrong for leaving a 10-year relationship? Advice needed. My boyfriend to 8M is mad at me 26F for telling my parents I got a second job. For some background, I am a long-distance daughter. I am very close with my family, and I would say we have a relatively healthy relationship. I moved with my boyfriend after we both graduated college, and we have been dating for 10 years. I recently picked up a part-time job on top of my full-time corporate job. I picked up the second job just to get some extra income and save. Yesterday, I had told my parents about my part-time job, as we were having a phone call conversation. Now my boyfriend is mad at me for telling them about the second job. He says that I don't have to tell them everything, and I am not a child. But I don't see a reason to keep it a secret. When asked, "What did you do today?" I'm just supposed to lie to my parents. I don't understand why I can't tell them. It's my life, and I like to keep my family informed as we have a close relationship. Now he is mad at me and giving me the silent treatment. This isn't the first time he has acted this way. He likes to pick on me for having daily conversations with my mom and things like our family group chat and daily good morning texts. I'm open to my parents about most things besides personal relationship issues. I keep those to myself, but he seems to have a problem with the kind of relationship I do have with my family. To me, I have a normal, healthy relationship with my family. I'm annoyed that he is mad at me for something that I see no issue with. But I am questioning if he may be right. IDK. I was upset yesterday because I felt like I was talking to a brick wall when I was expressing my feelings on the situation. I had told him that I would never change my relationship with my family for him or to make him feel better. I don't see a reason to distance myself from my family just for him. Is the second job something I should have kept to myself? Is he right in I don't need to tell them everything because I am older and haven't lived with them in almost 5 years? AITA for filing for divorce after discovering my husband's very conservative beliefs. Advice needed. I 26F have been married to my husband 27M for 2 years now. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but recently I discovered something that has shaken me to my core. I have always been open-minded and quite liberal in my beliefs. I volunteer at a shelter for people experiencing homelessness and work at a center specializing in youth mental health. My husband, on the other hand, portrayed himself as similarly minded when we first met. We fell in love, got married, and I have been the primary breadwinner while he pursued various career interests, none of which panned out so far, and he is currently unemployed. The trouble started when I stumbled upon some online activity that revealed he holds very conservative views on social and political issues. These were views he never expressed before, and when I confronted him about it, he admitted that he had deliberately hidden them from me because he knew how important my progressive values were to me. I asked him about the women belong in the home posts he had made and asked him if he thought I would be better at home. He told me that yes, he thought I should be a housewife. This revelation has hit me hard. It's not just about the difference in beliefs itself, but the fact that he kept this fundamental aspect of himself hidden from me. I feel like I don't truly know him anymore, and I'm struggling to reconcile the person I thought I married with this new reality. Especially because his views in this case are unrealistic, especially due to him not even having a job. I've always believed in open communication and honesty in a relationship, and now I feel betrayed. It's not just about politics. It's about trust and respect. I am the one supporting us financially, and while that doesn't bother me inherently, the fact that he misled me about something so significant does. I filed for divorce and gave him the papers today. He pitched a fit and got really angry at me when I told him that I was leaving him. He flew off the handle when I mentioned I was glad the prenup kept our finances separate. He told me I can't leave him like this, and that I was an ass and a bitch for dumping him like this. That I promised to be with him for richer or poorer, and in good times and bad. I feel a bit guilty about leaving him in this way, though I can't be with a person who thinks the way he does about women. AITA. AITA for keeping score of everything I've ever done for my husband. I'm a woman in my late 50s, married to my husband, early 60s. We've been married for 30-odd years. I have fulfilled the role of a traditional wife for much of our marriage, and I left paid work soon into our marriage. My husband is very successful in his business, and we live comfortably. All our children are adults now. My husband built his business from the ground up, and I was instrumental to the early success which set it up to be what it is today. We were having lunch with our children when my son mentioned that his wife didn't want to be trad wife and do what I did to raise the kids. She raised concerns about how vulnerable a position it is and that she doesn't want to solely depend on him for money. He wanted me to talk to her and convince her by telling her how it worked out for me. I said I understood where she was coming from, and being a housewife is incredibly risky and vulnerable, especially if he leaves her and she's been out of the labor force for a while. He countered that it had worked for his father and I because I trusted him as my husband to provide for me, and why couldn't his wife do the same? I told him I have a meticulous record of all contributions I have ever made to the family business, recently digitized with the help of my daughter, so that, if the worst ever happened, I wouldn't be relying on the mercy of a man to feed myself. I told him I have made many contingency plans over the years to minimize the risk of being a housewife and compensate for my lack of pension and benefits I'd have had I not left the labor force. My son and husband were angered by this. Both said it showed a lack of trust, and my husband especially feels I've had one foot out the door our entire marriage, and that my little escape plan included plans to shaft him of his business. I told him the fact that he refers to it as his business rather than ours is exactly why I kept those records and why I won't be telling my daughter-in-law to do what she doesn't want to do. AITA, note, it's late here, so I'm going to respond in the morning. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for your engagement. I have read and responded to as many comments as I'm able. Thank you for sharing your perspectives and 99% of you being really polite. I'm going away for a spa weekend with the women in my family this weekend, so I'm going to use the time to reflect and decide how to proceed. Take care XX. AITA for breaking up with my girlfriend when she tested me. When I was 16 years old, my girlfriend broke up with me. I was pathetic and begged her to change her mind. I thought I was in love and couldn't be without her. I was an idiot. I'm 25 now, and I have promised myself I will never do that again. I have had several relationships and a few hookups, and when they end I am sad but not weak. I had been with my girlfriend for a year and a half. We met at a social function for people in our line of work. We hit it off and started seeing each other more often, then made it exclusive. Recently, we have been talking about moving in together. Our city is expensive, and we thought we could save some money. Her apartment is bigger than mine, but I own mine, so we were working stuff out. Last weekend, out of nowhere, she says that we are moving too fast. Okay, no problem, we didn't make any plans that can't be undone yet. Nope, she said that she wanted to break up because she wasn't sure I was all in. I said okay, then she freaked out. Apparently, it was a test to see if I would fight for her. Yeah, I don't do that anymore, and I do not appreciate mind games. So I told her that I would box up anything of hers that might be at my place and she could pick it up. She accused me of being a cold-hearted asshole that was only using her for sex. I wasn't. I thought we had a future. I wasn't ready to propose or anything, but I thought she was the one. We had met each other's families, and she had spent last Christmas with us. My parents and sister love her. I loved her. My mom and dad called me to ask what was going in, and I told them. They think I am being stubborn. My little sister says I'm being a complete jerk for not forgiving my ex. I just remember crying myself to sleep over a girl and refused to do it again. AITAH.